ladies and gentlemen, to the RDFL Footy Show Grand Final Edition. This baby right here is going to be given to either the Diggers Rest or the Riddell football clubs this Sunday afternoon at about 10 past 5 p.m. as we conclude the 2016 RDFL season with the biggest day on the calendar. And we're going to bring you all of the details about the games this weekend and talk with some of the coaches as well. Sean Kelly's my name. Joining me, as he has done every week throughout the year, Shaun and Yeendy. Thanks for joining us once again, mate. You must be really excited this week.
It is the most exciting time of year, mate. It is like Christmas. We're getting plenty of rain outside. It could be snow, whichever way you like it.
So it's like an American Christmas, not an Australian one.
Exactly right, mate. So it's going to be an absolute pearler. Very much looking forward to it. And the way the forecast is predicted, we are going to have a nice wet one, which we haven't seen in a long time on RDFNL Grand Final Day.
Yes, which could be very, very interesting indeed. But before we look at the RDFL Grand Final in its entirety, let's have a look first. Our talking point for the week is, of course, the preliminary final and the Bombers. They've done it all the way from an elimination final. They've won 3 games to get to this point so far, and they did it again on the weekend in another pretty close game against Broadford.
Well, if you missed out on the Masson and Riddell game, you showed up this past Saturday over at Landsfield and you saw something that mirrored very much the same as that. The Bombers got away to a handy lead, the opposition come back and probably should have picked them at the post. And I say probably is that, like Masson and Broadford had their chance in the last quarter. They kicked 3 goals, 6 and an out of bounds on the full, and that was the difference between them winning and losing the game. And the Bombers' defence held up strongly. They lost Jace Allen in the first half due to a badly broken arm, but you insert Ben Sonigan into the play in his absence, and he was easily the best player on the ground. If Broadford's kicking didn't cost them the game, it was certainly Ben Sonigan in defence of the Bombers that won the Bombers the game.
Yeah, great to see Riddell through to a grand final. You wouldn't tip this at the start of the final series, would you?
Not at all, especially when the Bombers went into the game after a pretty heavy loss to Rupert's the following week, and then previous week, and then ended up coming out in week 1 of the finals, beating them in the second half, and have won a couple of close ones since then. So it's been quite fascinating, and we love finals in the sense that anything can happen, and we've certainly seen that during the course of this one.
Yeah, we certainly have indeed. So let's turn our attentions to Grand Final Day now, and starting, of course, with the under 18.5 game. And I'll tell you what, in some circumstances, this looks very much like what we saw last year at Romsey Park as well. 5 of the same 6 teams competing on the day, and the early games featuring the same couple of teams we saw last year in the Buffalo Sports under 18.5 grand final, kicking off at 9:30am at Romsey Park. It is Rupertswood taking on Woodend Heskett. We saw Rupertswood last year take it all before them in this game and win it quite convincingly. Very obviously a different team, different group of players, different opposition. They're wearing the same jumpers as the opposition from last year, but it's different players. That being said, will the result change?
Well, actually, it's funny you say that about different jumpers, because I know that when these two teams faced off in the second semi-final, Woodend Heskett opted to wear, I think it was Heskett strip, so it was a bit of a clash jumper. So whether they come out on Sunday and do the same thing, we'll yet to be. We'll certainly find out and see on the day. But this is going to be an interesting game, because Woodend Heskett put on arguably the greatest finals, the great finals comebacks that we've seen in quite some time. We want to mirror it to what happened with Sunbury Kangaroos beating Romsey for the Siren in the senior grand final. This one back at Landsfield, ironically enough, they were down and out. They were trailed by about 5 goals at half-time against Diggers Rest, who were dead set, pretty much set for a 10-goal plus win. That's the way things were going. Woodend were down to 1 on the bench, missing 3 or 4 of their valuable stars as a consequence of that. But they pulled off the comeback of the century. Geordie Falakis, he kicked 5 goals either side of 5 goals in a row, pretty much, and basically got the Hawks over the line. They ended up winning by 19 points. So they needed a hero, the Hawks, and they got it. And that was one of the most guttiest, courageous performances from any game we've seen in a while.
But have they played their grand final a week early?
I think that's what everyone would be thinking, because they should, if you're going to have that sort of game, have it on the big stage.
Yep.
So whereas the Sharks are becoming in pretty fresh, they beat them by 17 goals the previous week. So I know the Hawks are going to get a couple back, so they will be relatively close to full strength despite the injuries. So it should be a good contest, but Rupert's will be going in heavy favourites in this one.
Yeah, I think you're right as well. And then in the reserves grand final, it's Diggers Rest taking on the Sunbury Kangaroos once again. As we saw last year, Diggers Rest will come in as pretty warm favourites, but We saw last year that the favourites didn't necessarily salute. The Sunbury Kangaroos have an outstanding record in reserves grand finals in recent years. Can they make it another one?
Well, they're going for their hat-trick here, but I think they're up against the Burrows outfit that are far better than what we saw last year. To be completely honest, I think the closest the team has got to them all year would have been the Sunbury Kangaroos in the final round of the home and away season, where they ended up winning by 6 goals, but every other game it's just been a phenomenal display by the Burrows. They haven't really been challenged. Can that happen on grand final day in wet conditions? Odds are the game will be a little bit closer, but it's really for Diggers Rest to lose, and that's no discredit there to the Sunbury Kangaroos. So I think it might be missing their gun forward, Garth Plug, for this particular game. So it'll make things interesting, but the Burrows, again, they just have too many winners. They've across the seniors and under-18s and reserves, pretty much injury-free, so they've got plenty of players to choose from.
And then, of course, at 2:45pm, the one we've been waiting for all year long, Diggers Rest, their 4th grand final in succession, taking on Riddell, the team that bested them in the 2013 decider. Before we give our opinions on the game, though, we're going to go out to some much, much more learned gentlemen than ourselves. Headed out during the week to get around the traps a little bit with the clubs, and our great friend here, Yeendy, caught up with Jamie Elliott from Diggers Rest and Jamie Elliott from Riddell and Shaun Sims from Diggers Rest. I changed clubs for them for the moment there. They wouldn't have been all happy with that.
Well, Jamie Elliott was coach of Diggers Rest a couple of years ago.
Indeed. That's, I think, where I was going with the headspace. But, of course, Jamie Elliott from Riddell, Shaun Sims from Diggers Rest, and got their thoughts ahead of this weekend's grand final.
We're joined by the Riddell coach, Jamie Elliott. Thanks for joining us, mate. Excited about Sunday's game?
Yeah, always exciting, mate, to get to the big dance, the last game. So we're looking forward as a football club.
Now, you've headed into the game in a bit of good form, mate. 2 heart stoppers. How did the boys recover from those wins?
Yeah, we've had a pretty light Tuesday nights and that just to recover, and then we go pretty hard at it Thursday night and just get the mindsets right. But I think we played 2 pretty good ones, but we had a pretty poor one before that against Rupertswood. So we're just trying to get that out of their minds and just come with the right mindset and just play some good footy.
Yeah, you've had a few games which have been interesting. You're the 2 finals, you started strong with the opposition come back. Go back a few weeks ago, same scenario with Diggers Rest, but they come back. So have you sort of addressed some of those issues that the club or team needs to be a bit more, I guess, proactive for 4 quarters?
Yeah, I just think it comes down to the young group as well. You know, sometimes the kids switch their minds off a little bit, but I'd rather we come out and be 4 or 5 goals up at quarter time, be 4 or 5 goals down. So we're addressing everything as we go. It's just a matter of getting it right on the day.
One big injury from the preliminary final, Jason Allen. Tell us a little bit about what happened and how he's going.
Yeah, Jay, he's been terrific for us. I know Saturday went down. I think him and Lance and Shane had a fairly big clash on the wing, and Jay's just he's broken one of the bones in his arm, so he's got a couple of plates and a couple of screws in it, and it's very disappointing. Not only as a coach but as a player, and as a club, we're shattered for Jay because he's been such a integral part of the footy club. So just hopefully now he gets there and supports everyone, and we know what he's like, so he'll be there with bells on.
Bit of a blessing in disguise though. Ben Sonigan stepped up in his absence and had a blinder of a second half to be probably one of the best on the ground.
Yeah, Ben was terrific, and he's been a bit maligned, I suppose, over the year. And I've tried to play him on the wing just to try and get an advantage out of Ben. But you look at him, he's just a good hard down centre half back or a full back or a centre half forward. That's the way he plays his footy. He just likes putting his head over the ball and jumping at the ball. So it's probably been my fault a little bit, but it was great to see him on the weekend really stand up, and he was great for our kids.
You've had a look at Diggers recently. Who are some of the players you think might need to stop?
Oh, it's probably about 18 of them, to be honest. They've got a fair side, obviously with the 4 or 5 AFL boys that are playing, the VFL, a couple of boys there too, and they've just got a good group of younger players that have come through the system. Tommy Gleeson, I thought he was terrific against Broadford, obviously playing down back. But they've got that core group, and they're probably at the right age and the right to really have a crack at it.
You've coached Diggers Rest against Riddell in the grand final before, so you have had a grand final experience in this competition. How will you sort of adapt to this situation?
Oh, I just think, it's the old cliches, mate. We just take this game as it comes. We played on Saturday, so we get the 8-day break, which will be good for us. The young fellas tonight will train tonight. Obviously, the weather's not great, but I just want to get them out there for 15 to 20 minutes to adapt to it. And we don't care if it rains, if it's dry. It doesn't really matter to us. If the ball's bouncing around or it's slipping through, we don't care. It's just a matter of bringing that mindset.
Yeah, you've had Ben Sonigan step up last week. If there was a handful of players that you think might need to step up on grand final day, who's it going to be?
For us, I just think they've got, we've got some quality players as well. Obviously, we're probably a little bit younger than Diggers, but we've got a handful of quality players that could stand up anyway. I'm not going to say where we're going to play them or anything. But, hopefully Paulie Sell has a good game, and Timmy Walsh just stands up every week. He's been terrific, and Scotty, and hopefully Ruff puts his hand up, and Big Jimmy up there and a couple of goals for it. That's what it's about. Score more goals than what they do, mate.
Exactly right, mate. Well, we wish you all the best out there on Sunday, and congratulations on getting to another grand final.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
We're here with Diggers Rest coach Shaun Sims. Thanks for joining us, mate. How are you feeling heading into the big game?
Really good, actually. Just pretty excited to get close to the weekend, I think. The week's a bit of a build-up and try and keep as normal as possible and train normally, and looking forward to the Sunday.
Now, it's certainly been a lot of pressure on you guys this year to win every game and sort of get through to the big dance. And I guess you've taken to every game as though it's a grand final. How do you feel the side is prepared heading into this game?
Yeah, look, it's been good. I suppose the pressure on us is just try and play as well as we can for as long as we can. I think we've done that for the majority of the games this year and have performed quite strongly in the two finals we have. So, but as it goes now, there's only one game that counts, I suppose. So I'm sure Jamie's had the same thing. It's down to that last game now, and that's all it's going to make.
Bit of an X factor you've introduced late in the season in the ruck, Shane Marchuka. Tell us a little bit about him and his importance to the team.
Yeah, look, one of our young ruckmen went down with an injury, so it was a bit of a bold call. He hadn't played senior footy for 3 or 4 years, I don't think, so we thought we'd give him a go. He came back late to qualify for the twos. He'd played ruck for us, I don't know, probably about 7 or 8 years ago, and we thought we'd give him a go before the finals and see what happened. He's performed really well, so he's kept his spot.
Excellent, mate. Now, you're not having much of a playing role this year in the seniors. How have you found that to assist with your coaching?
Look, it's probably easier to be on the sideline. It gives you more time to focus on what's going on, whereas when you're playing you probably have to hand over to your assistants a bit more during the game. So yeah, look, I've enjoyed it. It's probably I wouldn't say it's a lot more relaxing, but you sort of have a better handle of what's going on in the game when you're standing on the sidelines.
Now, the club has faced Riddell in quite a number of grand finals in the last decade. Has there been a sort of bit of discussion about sort of getting the monkey off the back and winning your first grand final by beating the team that's beaten you to the post a few times?
Look, I don't care who we beat, really. It's not a winning thing, but no, look, they're a quality club. They've probably been the most successful club over the last decade, so we've got a huge amount of respect for the way they go about it and the way they've gone about it this year. But yeah, they're going to be doing exactly the same thing as we are on Sunday, and that's trying to win the game.
You've watched the team on the weekend. Who from Riddell sort of stands out as maybe one you may need to stop?
No, they've got plenty, Yeendy. I mean, they've probably got the best full-back in the comp, the best ruck, the best midfielder in Paul, and probably the best full forward. So they've got plenty of star power. They've got some really good solid players and some really good young kids that pressure the ball very impressively. So there's a lot to worry about. Whether we try and shut down one player, I think would be more concentrated on the team.
Now, with you guys, where do you think you might have the advantage? What makes you the key strengths?
Key strengths? Look, I think we've got a couple of different styles of play that we can, fall back to in the game, depending on what happens with the conditions and stuff. It looks like it is going to be a fairly wet and miserable day, which means it'll just boil down to basic sort of football. I think who wins the ball, who wins the important 50-50 contest, who structures up well in front of the ball, who pressures the ball carrying, stuff like that. It'll come down to a pretty basic sort of game style.
Have you guys found yourself as a team to be able to adapt well to wet conditions over the course of the year?
Yeah, we've played in a couple of wetter sort of games, more boggier sort of games. It's been pretty good this year with the weather for the majority of the year, and more dealing with wind and anything than poorer conditions. And I think come Sunday you'll still see some quality football from two quality football sides.
Well, best of luck out there, mate. We wish you all the best and look forward to seeing how the team goes on Sunday.
Thanks, Yeendy. Thanks for having me.
Jamie Elliott from Riddell and Shaun Sims from Diggers Rest. Interesting to hear their thoughts going into the grand final. I'm also very interested, Chris Yeen, to hear your thoughts on what's going to happen in this game. You mentioned when we talked about the reserves, the phrase Diggers Rests to lose. I get the feeling that this game is exactly the same. That's my opinion on this one. That being said, Grand Final Day has thrown up some different things in the last couple of years for the Diggers Rest Footy Club, and do not write Riddell off in the slightest.
Yeah, look, it's going to throw a whole heap of scenarios. I think as we spoke about on the show last week, the Bombers needed to make a grand final. If Diggers Rest are going to win one, they want to beat the Bombers. And that's purely on the basis that they've made the grand final on a number of occasions. They have lost to their arch nemesis. Yep. So what way to break the hoodoo by beating the team that
I really don't think they'd care who they beat in the grand final. Yeah. As long as they got their hands on this thing, they wouldn't have cared who they'd have to face to do it.
Well, now that they've got the Bombers, they'd be
got
very
the
happy.
choice now, exactly.
So they'd be very pumped about that. It's going to be interesting because the Bombers do come off 2 games under a goalless, 2 wins there. Mm-hmm. So when the pressure is on, they have proven that they can really well and truly step up. But Diggers Rest have also shown that in their second half, their two finals appearances in the second half, they have got away from their opposition. And that's the games, those are the situations where in Riddell's games over the past 2 weeks, the opposition have come back, haven't been close enough. But Diggers Rest, on the other hand, they've gone through with the job. So realistically, what it says about Riddell is that they need to be strong for 4 quarters because they can't put up that sort of performance like that over the last 2 weeks.
Obviously, there will be some players that will be the keys to this game for both sides. Run us down probably the top 2 or 3 chances you think from both sides to walk away with either the Doug McIntyre medal or the AFL Victoria Country medal at the end of the day.
Diggers Rest, being put on the spot, but I like it considering the quality of players that we've got over there at the Burrows. I still like Tom Gleeson. He's shown last 2 second semi-finals we've seen him best on ground. Jace Williams obviously always comes to mind. He's a game changer. He definitely is. But I'll be looking out for Brandon Kilty for the Burrows there in the midfield. He's a goal kicker and he's a good ball winner. And so if Diggers Rest are going to win, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a contender for the Doug McIntyre medal.
No love for the man bun?
No love for the man bun, no.
No,
no, but I think he's just a really good, consistent player. Yeah. And I think he's expected to do his job week in, week out. And
umpires love him, we know that. He finished second in the Bowen.
Yeah, with 19 votes and a cracking performance. But when you flip the coin over on the other side with the Bombers, that's going to be the hard one because they're a very well-balanced team. I think the player that does probably stand out the most is Hayden Ross.
I was going to say that would be the man that you would go straight at. If he wins the best on-ground medal, you will blow a full for valve. Absolutely no doubt about it. I'll be standing in the middle of the ground on the truck saying it, and I'll see you blow your top in the radio booth.
Well, he's already taken 1 bottle of wine from us already during the final series, so and he played a pretty good game last weekend as well. So the other player I put up there, obviously Paul Zellberg, last year's Bowen medal winner, and goals are going to be very hard to come by. But if this man steps up like he did on the weekend with 4 goals, Brian Ruffle, he has kicked. I think when he played in the 2009 Grand Final for Lansfield, he kicked 5 goals in a match-winning performance there. So look out, he could be the one to keep out on.
Your tip for this weekend, I suppose, the last word on this game going into the weekend, Mr. Yeen. Thank you.
I'm going to put my journalist hat on here. I'm going to go for Diggers Rest.
Yes.
It's going to be the fairy tale. Yep. So it is going to happen. They will beat the Bombers up. I think the Bombers would love to see them win again. But look, I'm going to be controversial. The Burrows haven't had the premiership success. The Bombers have.
Yep.
So let's get behind the Burrows. We're hearing all this talk about everyone jumping on the Western Bulldogs bandwagon this week. So,
fair enough too.
So maybe that's a bit of the same thing here. But look, I'd say the Diggers Rest are going to win. They've had the season to prove it. They've only dropped 1 game. And again, haven't given us too many reasons not to back them. But the Bombers will push them. So if we see a margin within 2 goals, I think all footy fans will be very happy. I
think you're dead right there indeed. And we're looking forward to seeing you coming out to Romsey Park this Sunday for the biggest day of the year. A full calendar of netball games as well, including the Bombers taking on Macedon in a repeat of last year's A-grade netball decider as well. So going to be plenty there for the whole family throughout the day, and we can't wait to see you out at Romsey Park for the 2016 Riddell District Football Netball League Grand Final Day. Yeendy, thanks for joining us. Highlands FM on the air from very, very early this Sunday.
Yeah, 9 a.m. We're going to be out and about, which is going to be exciting. So we'll have plenty of awards to give out to players from all games on the day. So we will have a fantastic, or we'll give vouchers for the minor games, from under 19, C grade, B grade, under 18 halves and reserves. Thanks to our friends at Macca's. So
fantastic.
We've got behind us in the RDFNL Final
Fantastic partner of the RDFL as well, and of course naming rights partner of the McDonald's Final Series here in the RDFL. So thanks to Sandra Collins and the team out at McDonald's and the Westover boys, obviously, for getting behind the RDFL once again, and of course the Highlands FM radio coverage this year.
So we're very much, without their support, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. And of course, heads up as well for the legends over at OKR FM. They'll be broadcasting from 1:30 ground on the day, so you'll have two stations going head to head in what promises to be an exciting day, and we're very much thrilled to be a part of it on the day.
We're looking forward to it as well. I'll be there on the day as well. You may not see me throughout the day, but you'll definitely hear me. There's absolutely no doubt about that. So looking forward to getting out and amongst it this weekend. Yeendy, thank you so much for all of your work on the RDFL Footy Show this year. It's been an absolute pleasure sitting alongside you every week and bringing this footy show to the masses every week, which from all reports has had some good feedback throughout the year. Some obviously not so good feedback, but you take the bitter with the better. So thank you for all of your hard work this year with the footy show, and of course with everything you do with the RDFL, with the record and radio, and just being the general media superstar that you are.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. Good people sort of work around good things all the time. So no, it's always a pleasure being involved with good people and working alongside your good self from what you've done all this year as well, mate.
Thank you very much, my friend, and we look forward to seeing you once again at Romsey Park this Sunday. And we thank you for watching the RDFL Footy Show throughout the year. I'm 99% sure that we'll be back again in 2017. Just have to dot the I's and cross the T's. Make sure that happens, of course. I know you'll be back. Whether I'm back or not, I'm not 100% sure, but you'll definitely be back. But there'll be an RDFL Footy Show in 2017. As sure as the sun rises, we'll be back in April next year with more from around the RDFNL landscape. Enjoy the day this Sunday. Obviously, get down there, cheer responsibly, do all the right things, and enjoy the biggest weekend of the Riddell District Football Netball League and the conclusion to season 2016.